The stainless steel food tray hit the marble floor with a violent crash. Rice scattered beneath Chidera Alo's worn shoes as 84 people turned to stare at the cleaning lady, standing in the middle of the grand anniversary hall. "On your knees!" Akinola thundered, pointing at the mess. "Clean it with your hands, confess that you stole the company tablet, and maybe I will allow you to leave without police carrying you away." Chidera Alo's fingers tightened around her battered lunchbox. Her name tag had already been torn from her uniform. On the giant screen behind her was a security video showing her entering the storage room where the missing tablet had supposedly been found. Morayo folded her arms and smiled. "Look at her squeezing her face," she said. "Ordinary cleaner who survives on leftover food now wants to behave like an executive. People like you should know their level." Kola snatched the lunchbox from Chidera and slammed it onto the podium. "Oh, this is the same dirty container she used to feed that hungry old beggar inside our compound. Today she has brought disgrace into a company built by respectable people." Chidera Alo's lips trembled, but she did not kneel. "I clean the dirt in this building, sir," she said quietly. "I did not create it." The hall froze. Then a calm voice came from the back. "Before that woman kneels, let the people who have been eating from her wages kneel before the truth." Everyone turned. The same hungry old woman was standing at the entrance. Kola laughed and ordered security to throw her outside. He had no idea whose company he was standing inside. Do not miss what happened when the old woman finally revealed why she had come. Tell us your city and your local time in the comments, and subscribe now. Because after this moment, nobody in that hall would ever look at a cleaning lady the same way again. 3 days earlier, on Monday, November 17, 2025, Lagos woke beneath a sky the color of unpolished aluminium. By 7 in the morning, buses were already groaning along the Oshodi-Apapa Expressway. Conductors were striking metal doors with their palms, and traders were lifting blue tarpaulins from tables crowded with bread, sachet water, and boiled eggs. The city had not finished stretching, but it was already shouting. At exactly 8:17 a.m., a black sedan stopped 412 meters from the main gate of Lawal Harvest and Cold Chain Campus in Isolo. The driver turned in his seat. "Madame, I can take you inside. At least let me call the security office." The woman in the back shook her head. She wore a brown and cream Ankara blouse, a plain wrapper, low black sandals, and no jewelry except a thin wedding band she had refused to remove even after 21 years of widowhood. Her short grey hair was uncovered. A small leather handbag rested on her knees. "No call," she said. "No siren, no special entrance. Park near the pharmacy and wait." The driver hesitated. "You have not eaten since morning, I know." "Doctor said I heard the doctor with both ears." The man closed his mouth. Madame Amara Lawal stepped out of the car and walked towards the compound, where her name stood in 5-foot silver letters above the gate. 25 years earlier, Lawal Harvest had been one rented shop in Agage, 2 sacks of millet, a borrowed scale, and one stubborn woman who refused to believe that hunger should be profitable only for the people selling food. Now the company owned 7 distribution centers, 3 cold chain facilities, and a packaged meal operation that supplied hospitals, airlines, and schools. Newspapers called Amara a billionaire. Employees called her Madame Founder when she was present, and the old woman in Abuja when they believed she was not. For almost 3 years, she had not visited the Isolo campus in person. A difficult hip surgery, months of physiotherapy, and her increasing dependence on executive reports had turned her into a leader who saw numbers more often than faces. She disliked that truth, but disliking a truth did not remove it. On the previous Friday, Lanre Oduwole the group Alo's director of internal audit, had placed 3 reports on her desk. Staff welfare costs at Isolo had risen by 31%. Protective equipment purchases had increased by 27%. Employee turnover among outsourced cleaners had doubled. Yet formal complaints from those same workers stood at 0. 0 is not peace, Amara had said. Sometimes 0 means people are too afraid to speak. That was why she had come without notice. At the gate, 2 security officers sat behind reinforced glass. One was scrolling through football highlights on his phone. The other was stirring powdered milk into tea. Amara tapped the window. The younger officer looked up slowly. "Yes, Mama?" "I am here to see the site manager. Do you have appointment?" "No." "Then call the person you came to see. I do not have his direct number." The officer leaned back. "Mama, this is company premises. You cannot just wake up and say you want to see manager." "I understand. Please tell him Amara Lawal is here." The spoon stopped inside the cup. The older officer, Joseph Econom, looked up from a register. He was a broad-shouldered man of 51 with a careful face, and the habit of pressing his lips together before saying anything that might cost him peace. He studied the woman, then glanced at the silver name above the gate. "Amara Lawal," he repeated. "Yes." The younger guard laughed. "Mama, many people are called Lawal in Lagos." Amara did not answer him. She looked at Joseph. "Please inform Mr. Kola Akinola that I am waiting." Joseph picked up the intercom. He spoke quietly, listened, then lowered the receiver. "The site manager is in a meeting. I can wait." "There is a visitor Alo's bench outside." Amara turned towards the bench. It was plastic, sun-faded and placed beside a wall where delivery trucks released warm diesel breath each time they passed. The indoor reception beyond the glass doors was empty, air-conditioned and furnished with padded chairs. She looked back at Joseph. "May I wait inside?" Joseph Alo's eyes shifted towards a camera above the gate. "Visitors without confirmed appointment wait outside, Ma." That rule did not exist in any policy Amara had approved. Still, she sat. At 8:31, the sun pushed through the thin clouds. At 8:39, a forklift reversed nearby, sounding 3 sharp warning beeps. At 8:46, Amara opened her handbag and checked for the packet of glucose tablets her doctor had insisted she carry. The packet was there, but she had promised herself she would eat proper food, not manage symptoms with sugar. At 8:58, she stood too quickly. The compound tilted. She placed one hand against the wall and waited for the ground to settle. Nobody at the gate noticed. The younger officer was arguing about a penalty decision. Joseph was signing in a delivery van. Someone else noticed. Chidera Onwudiwe was pushing a yellow mop bucket along the corridor behind the loading bay when she saw the old woman Alo's knees soften. She left the bucket where it was and hurried across the concrete. "Ma, easy. Please sit down. I am fine." "No, Ma. Fine people do not hold wall as if the wall is owing them money." Amara almost smiled. "I stood too fast." "Have you eaten?" "I planned to." "That answer means no." Chidera guided her to the bench. Up close, the cleaner looked older than 33 when she was tired, and younger when she smiled. Though, that morning, there was not much smile left in her. Her navy uniform had faded at the elbows. One lace on her safety shoe had been replaced with a strip of black electrical wire. The plastic name tag above her breast pocket read Chidera, though the last 2 letters had nearly rubbed away. "Wait here," she said. She returned with a dented stainless steel lunchbox made of 3 round containers clipped together. One side had been pressed inward by an old fall. On the lid, beneath years of scratches, faint words had been engraved by hand. "Do not eat beside a hungry person." Chidera sat beside Amara and opened the top container. Yam porridge released the smell of palm oil, pepper, and smoked fish. The second held one boiled egg. The third contained sliced pawpaw, only 5 pieces. Amara looked at the food, then at her. This is your breakfast. It is breakfast and lunch. The two of them have agreed to live together. You should not give me half. Ma, hunger does not understand ownership. Chidera used the lid as a plate. She divided the porridge as evenly as she could, cut the egg with a plastic spoon, and gave Amara the larger half. No, Amara said. You take that side. Please eat before you fall down, and they say cleaner pushed visitor. There was no self-pity in her voice, only practical concern. Amara ate. The porridge was warmer than she expected, and more peppery than her doctor would have approved. She felt it travel into the hollow place beneath her ribs. For 1 full minute, neither woman spoke. Trucks moved. Metal clanged. Somewhere inside the factory, a bell announced a shift change. Then Amara noticed Chidera was taking tiny spoonfuls, stretching her portion. You work here every day? She asked 6 days. Sometimes 7 when somebody does not come. What time did you start today? 5:30. And you will close. 2:30 unless punishment finds me. Punishment. Chidera shrugged. I am managing. Amara pointed towards the glass building. Why not eat in the canteen? Chidera let out one soft laugh. It had no joy inside it. Ma, that place is for staff. You are staff. No, we are outsourced. What is the difference when hunger comes? Hunger does not know the difference. Management knows. Amara lowered the spoon. Does the company not provide meals for your category? Chidera looked at her properly for the first time. You ask questions like somebody checking something. I am asking because I want to understand. The cleaner wiped her thumb along the edge of the lunchbox. They deduct food money. How much? Chidera reached into her uniform pocket and brought out an old phone with a cracked screen. She tapped through photographs until she found a payslip dated October 31. Basic pay, 92,400 naira. Uniform and maintenance, 6,200 naira. Meal support contribution, 5,900 naira. Transport coordination, 3,150 naira. Safety equipment levy, 2,600 naira. Total deduction, 17,850 naira. Amara read each line twice. What do they give you for these deductions? Chidera looked down at her faded shirt, then lifted one hand. The rubber glove had split between the thumb and index finger. One shirt, one pair of gloves, and plenty promises. Ma, what about transport? We transport ourselves. Meals. If food remains after executives finish, kitchen people may give us. But not through front door. They say customers can see us. And safety equipment. Chidera tapped the shoe tied with electrical wire. You are looking at it. A muscle moved in Amara Alo's jaw. Before she could ask another question, a voice cut across the yard. Chidera! The cleaner Alo's shoulders stiffened. Kola Akinola approached with the fast, irritated steps of a man who believed every second of his day was worth more than somebody else Alo's week. His cream shirt was so crisp it seemed uncomfortable. A gold pen sat in his pocket. Behind him walked Morayo Bamidele, holding a tablet and wearing a fitted green suit despite the heat. Kola stopped 3 feet away and looked from Chidera to Amara to the open lunchbox. What is this rubbish? Chidera stood. Good morning, sir. The woman was weak. She had not eaten. Did I ask you for medical report? No, sir. Then why are you explaining nonsense to me? Is this place a motor park? Is it a church feeding program? You carried your village charity and poured it at the executive entrance. Amara remained seated. Kola pointed at her. Mama, finish whatever you are eating and move. We do not allow beggars around food operations. I did not beg, Amara said. Then what are you doing here, waiting to see the site manager? Kola gave a dry laugh. You are seeing him now. What do you want? To understand how this facility treats people. Morayo squeezed her face. Kola, please do not encourage her. Once one hungry person sits down, 10 more will hear that our compound has free food. Chidera bent to close the lunchbox. Kola kicked the plastic stool beneath it. The box fell sideways. A spoon struck the concrete. 2 pieces of pawpaw rolled into a gutter. Chidera froze. Amara looked at Kola Alo's polished shoe, then at the food on the ground. The air became very still. You kicked her meal, Amara said. Kola turned to her. Mama, do not raise your voice in my premises. Yes, my site, my responsibility. He faced Joseph, who had walked over from the gate. Remove this woman. Joseph hesitated. Sir, she said, her name is Amara Lawal. And? Kola snapped. Should I kneel because she knows the founder Ilo's name? There are thousands of Lawals. Poor people are becoming too bold these days. Next thing, she will enter the boardroom because she is wearing Ankara. Morayo laughed. Chidera picked up the spoon and the fallen container. Her face had gone quiet. The way faces become quiet when anger is too expensive to show. Kola saw it and moved closer. Why are you squeezing your face? Did this company employ you to feed every old woman whose wrapper has lost color? No, sir. Good. Since you have strength for charity, you have strength for grease section. 2 extra hours after your shift. Clean the oil traps behind cold room 3. Sir, I have already worked there twice this week. Are you now choosing assignment? No, sir. Then carry your smelling food and disappear before I put both of you outside myself. Amara rose slowly. Your name is Kola Akinola. He touched the gold pen in his pocket. Everybody in this campus knows me. I will remember. He smiled as if she had offered him a compliment. Please do. Joseph escorted Amara towards the gate, though he stayed half a step behind her rather than beside her. When they reached the visitor Alo's register, she stopped. Mr. Ekanem. He looked startled that she knew his surname from the tag on his shirt. Ma? Does camera 14 cover the executive entrance? His expression changed. Yes. And how long do you retain footage? 30 days, unless incident is flagged. Good. She walked out. Chidera watched through the fence until the old woman disappeared into the morning traffic. She did not see the black sedan waiting beside the pharmacy. She did not see the driver open the door. She did not see Amara sit down, close her eyes, and hold the dented lunchbox lid. Chidera had pressed into her hand because it still contained 2 spoonfuls of porridge. The driver started the engine. Head office, he asked. Not yet? Amara took a second phone from her handbag and called Lanre Oduwol. He answered on the first ring. Good morning, madame. Preserve every payroll record, every vendor invoice, and every camera file from Isolo from 6:00 o'clock this morning. Do not alert the site. There was a pause. Have you found evidence? Amara looked at the porridge in the scratched metal lid. I found the cost of our blindness. By 9:36 that morning, Lanre had converted a small conference room at the group Alo's Marina headquarters into a temporary audit center. He did not send a memo. He did not request permission from Isolo. He called the information technology administrator, the payroll controller, and the procurement archivist, one after another, using the authority already granted to his office. Read-only access, he told them. Nobody edits anything. Nobody calls the site. Preserve first, ask questions later. Lanre was 42, lean, patient, and almost impossible to impress. He had built his reputation by distrusting both panic and confidence. In his experience, innocent people could look frightened, and dishonest people could sound calm. Records were less theatrical. At 10:11 a.m., The first payroll export arrived. 23 cleaners were listed under BrightPath Workforce Services. Every one of them had the same 5 deductions, down to the last naira. That alone was unusual. Transport costs rarely remained identical across workers living in Oshodi, Mushin, Ejigbo, and Ikotun. Uniform maintenance did not normally cost the same amount every month. Safety equipment should have been purchased by the contractor, not charged repeatedly to workers who wore the same torn shoes for more than 1 year. At 10:49, the vendor invoices arrived. Lawal Harvest had paid BrightPath 28,600 naira per cleaner per month for meals, protective gear, transport coordination, and quarterly safety training. The company was paying. The workers were also paying. Somebody was collecting twice. Lanre called Amara. "Madame, the deductions are real. The vendor invoices cover the same services." "How long?" "Records I can see immediately go back 19 months. I am checking earlier archives." "How much?" "Exposure. Preliminary figure is above 20 million naira. I will not give you a final number until we reconcile headcount." "Good. Do not rush the figure. There is more. BrightPath submits attendance sheets for safety training every quarter. The signatures look repeated." "Repeated how?" "Same pen pressure, same angle, same spelling mistakes. It may be copied." Amara looked through the car window at the traffic moving past. The driver had parked beneath an almond tree because she had refused to return to headquarters yet. "Lanre, find the owners." "I have started." "And the camera." "We cannot pull live security video without touching the site system. That may create an alert." "Then wait. I want the data preserved before anybody becomes creative." At Isolo, creativity had already begun. Kola stood inside his glass office, watching Chidera drag the mop bucket towards the rear service corridor. Morayo closed the door behind her and placed the tablet on his desk. "Why are you looking like that?" she asked. That old woman was asking questions. Old people ask questions. It is how they disturb young people. She asked about treatment of staff. She asked for me by name. Morayo waved one hand. "Maybe she has a relative here," she said. "Her name is Amara Lawal." For half a second, Morayo Allo's smile disappeared. Then she laughed too loudly. "Please. Madame Amara Lawal does not enter a place through security gate wearing bathroom slippers." They were sandals. "Kola, are you afraid of one hungry grandmother because she knows the founder owes name? You have not even seen Madame in real life." "I have seen photographs. Photographs from 10 years ago. Besides, the founder is in Abuja. Everybody knows." Kola looked through the glass wall again. Chidera had stopped beside a door, checking something on her phone. She showed that woman her payslip. Morayo followed his gaze. "You saw it?" "I saw phone in her hand. That cleaner has been carrying herself like she has a lawyer inside her pocket. Last month, she refused to sign a backdated overtime adjustment." "Why did you allow that?" "What should I have done? Beat her?" Kola Allo's eyes hardened. "No, you should have made her understand that people who need work do not ask too many questions." Morayo picked up the tablet. "I will give her warning letter. Make it strong." "How strong?" "Strong enough to remind her that a mop has a handle because the dirty end must remain down." At 11:07, Chidera entered the grease section behind cold room 3. The air was thick with old oil, detergent, and trapped heat from the industrial kitchen. The drain cover was clogged with grey food particles. 2 oil traps needed to be opened, scraped, and flushed. Work normally assigned to a 2-person team wearing elbow-length gloves and face shields. Only one short pair of gloves waited for her. One glove had a hole. Chidera stood over the equipment and breathed through her mouth. She had cleaned the same section on Thursday and Saturday. The skin around 3 fingernails had begun to split from chemicals. When she requested barrier cream, Morayo told her poverty had made workers too delicate. She took out her phone and photographed the condition of the oil trap, the damaged gloves and the clock on the wall. A shadow fell across the floor. Morayo stood at the doorway. "What are you doing?" "Recording the condition before I start." "Who gave you permission to take pictures?" "It is for work record, Ma. Delete them." Chidera slipped the phone into her pocket. "The safety form says we should document damaged equipment." Morayo stepped closer. Her perfume fought with the smell of grease and lost. "Do not quote company form for me. You people learn one small sentence and begin to behave like Labor Minister. I only want the record to show the glove was damaged before I used it, so that when you injure yourself, you will say, 'Company did not protect you.' The glove is already torn. You see this, your mouth? One day it will carry you to a place your salary cannot bring you back from." Chidera said nothing. Morayo held out a folded paper. "Sign." "What is it?" "Warning for abandoning duty this morning." "I did not abandon duty. I helped a visitor who nearly fell. Were you employed as nurse?" "No, Ma." "Then sign." Chidera unfolded the document. The date at the top was November 3, 2 weeks earlier. The first paragraph accused her of leaving an assigned work area without approval. The second page carried only a signature line and the words EMP Fund Acknowledgement. The space above it was blank. She looked up. "The date is wrong." Morayo Alo's mouth tightened. "Sign and I will correct it. And this second page is empty. It is continuation page. Continuation of what?" "Chidera, do not use your poverty to provoke me this morning. I cannot sign a blank page, Ma." Morayo took one step forward. "You cannot?" "No, Ma. You stand inside grease room wearing shoe tied with wire and tell me what you cannot do." Chidera held the paper carefully. "Please fill everything. Put today Alo's date and give me a copy. Then I will sign that I received it, not that I agree." For 3 seconds, Morayo stared at her. Then she snatched the paper back. "You think, because you can read payslip, you are now equal to people who employ you. No, Ma. You are not even Lowell harvest staff. Brightpath can replace you before this oil becomes cold. I understand. Good. Your shift is now night duty for 3 weeks, 6 p.m. to 2 a.m. Chidera Alo's face changed. "Ma, my room is in Oshodi. There is no safe bus after then sleep inside gutter. Is the company your husband? Please, Ma. I am not refusing work. I am asking for transport." "You are asking too much. Clean this place." Morayo turned and left. The door slammed. Chidera stood alone in the hot room. Her chest rose once, twice, 3 times. She wanted to cry, but tears inside a grease section would only mix with sweat and disappear. She took out her phone, photographed the warning letter from memory notes she had made, then opened a small notebook wrapped in transparent nylon. November 17. 11:14 m. Morayo changed shift after I refused blank form. No transport provided. She wrote slowly, spelling every word. Then she put on the torn gloves and began to work. At 2:36 p.m., when her normal shift should have ended, Kola entered the service corridor with 2 visitors in suits. Chidera was on her knees, scrubbing black oil from the floor. Kola did not look at her face. "See our hygiene standard," he told the visitors. "Everything is controlled." One visitor nearly stepped on Chidera Alo's hand. She pulled it back. Nobody said sorry. By 4:51, the skin beneath her glove was burning. She washed her hands with cold water, closed the lunchbox, and began the walk towards the bus stop. The top container was empty. The second held one small spoonful of porridge stuck near the rim. She had not eaten it because the memory of Amara Alo's shaking hand had remained in her mind all afternoon. Outside the compound, traffic had thickened. Hawkers moved between vehicles carrying plantain chips, phone chargers, and cold drinks balanced on their heads. Chidera had walked 30 meters when she saw the old woman standing near the bus shelter. Amara held a small paper bag from the pharmacy. Chidera stopped. "Amma? You came back?" "I said I would remember." Chidera looked towards the gate. "Please do not stand here. If Mr. Kohler sees you, he may say I invited you. I will not keep you long." Amara opened her handbag and brought out a bundle of cash. Chidera stepped back immediately. "No, Ma. You fed me. It was food, not loan. I want to replace it. That money is too much." "How much was the food?" Chidera calculated. "Yam, fish, pepper, egg, water. Maybe 1,200 naira. Amara counted exactly 1,200 naira and held it out. Chidera accepted after a moment. "Thank you. You would take that amount, but not more." "More for what?" "For kindness." Chidera shook her head. "Once kindness has price, it becomes business." A bus roared past, throwing dust into the air. Amara waited until the noise reduced. "Suppose you had authority in that company," she said. "What would you change first?" Chidera looked at her with suspicion. "Why?" "Because I am curious. Curiosity can put poor person in trouble." "Then answer only what you are comfortable saying." Chidera glanced at the compound. Through the fence, workers in office clothes were leaving the main canteen, carrying takeaway packs. Behind the kitchen, 2 outsourced cleaners stood near a bin, waiting to see if any food would remain. "Let them stop collecting money for food they do not give us," she said. "Let cleaners enter the same canteen through the same door. Hunger does not know employment category. What else? Give people the things written on their payslip. If you collect for glove, bring glove. If you collect for transport, bring bus. Do not call us family during anniversary, and call us outsiders when food is ready." Amara listened without interrupting. Chidera continued, her voice lower now. "And complaints should not pass through the same person you are complaining about. That one is like asking goat to guard yam." A smile touched Amara Alo's face. "You have thought about this." "We think every day, Ma. It is only that thinking does not always change salary. What would you ask for yourself?" Chidera looked down at her shoes. "A contract that does not disappear when somebody is angry." "Training, maybe. I used to help in a warehouse. I can read stock sheet. I can learn safety work." "Why did you leave the warehouse?" "The company closed. After that, anything I found, I took. Rent does not wait for career plan." Amara nodded. "You are right." Chidera studied her. "Ma, who are you?" The question hung between them. Amara could have answered. She could have opened her handbag, shown an identification card, and watched Chidera Alo's posture change. She could have transformed one honest conversation into a performance. Instead, she said, "A woman who should have asked these questions earlier." Chidera did not look satisfied, but a bus conductor was already shouting, "Oshodi! Oshodi direct!" She stepped towards the bus. "Wait," Amara said. "Your full name?" "Chidera Onwudiwe." "Chidera. Yes, Ma. Keep your records safe." The cleaner Elo's eyes narrowed. "Why are you telling me that?" "Because people who benefit from confusion fear good records." The bus conductor struck the side of the vehicle. Chidera climbed in and found a place near the door. As the bus pulled away, she looked back. The old woman was still standing there. At 5:27 p.m., Lanri called Amara again. "We found Bright Path ownership. Tell me." "The registered director is a woman whose residential address matches Morayo Bamidele, Alo's aunt. Same surname before marriage. There are also transfers from Bright Path to Akinola Process Advisory. Kola Alo's company, registered to his younger brother. No employees, no office lease. It issued 11 consulting invoices in 19 months. How much?" 7,430,000 naira. Amara closed her eyes. And the total? Based on confirmed headcount, duplicated staff welfare charges are 20,298,650 naira. There may be additional overtime manipulation. Do you have enough to move? Enough to preserve, not enough to accuse. I want access logs, camera records, training signatures, and device history. Take what you need quietly. Lanre paused. Madame, there is a scheduled 25th anniversary event at Isolo on Thursday. The board delegation will attend. I know. Should we cancel? No. You intend to attend? I intended to attend before today. And now? Now I intend to listen. Inside the Isolo office, Kola Alo's phone vibrated at 5:31 p.m. A message from Central Procurement appeared on his screen. Please upload supporting records for Bright Path Workforce Services invoices, January 2024 to October 2025. Audit request. Priority. He read it twice. Mariah was standing beside the filing cabinet, gathering her handbag. What is it? She asked. Kola turned the screen towards her. The color left her face. They have never asked for 19 months at once, she whispered. No. Could it be routine? Routine does not use the word priority. Morayo placed her bag down. That cleaner. Kola looked through the office glass. Chidera Alo's cleaning trolley stood at the end of the corridor, though she had already gone home. She has opened her mouth, he said. What do we do? Kola Alo's reflection stared back at him from the darkening window. We close it for her. Tuesday came with rain. It began at 4. 12 in the afternoon, heavy and sudden, beating against the zinc roofs around Oshodi, until gutters overflowed and brown water climbed over the edges of the road. By 5:30, Chidera was standing beneath a leaking bus stop shelter with her uniform folded inside a black nylon bag. She had slept less than 4 hours after worrying through the night about transport, rent and Morayo Alo's warning. Her landlord expected 85,000 naira before the end of the month. Her electricity contribution was overdue by 6 days. The 2,400 naira inside her purse had to carry her through the week. Still, at 5:57 p.m., she signed the Isolo night duty register. Joseph was at the security desk. He looked at the rainwater running from her sleeves. They changed your shift. For 3 weeks. Who approved transport? Chidera gave him a tired look. Which transport? Joseph pressed his lips together. She leaned towards the desk. Mr. Joseph, please, did that old woman leave safely yesterday? Yes. Did Mr. Kola ask about her? He asked for the camera footage. Chidera Alo's hand stopped on the register. Why? He said the woman was a security concern. Was she? Joseph looked towards the ceiling camera. I did not see weapon in her hand, only my spoon. The corner of his mouth moved, but the smile did not stay. Be careful, he said. Careful of what? Joseph lowered his voice. Just be careful. Chidera wanted a better answer, but a horn sounded at the gate and Joseph returned to his work. That evening, Kola and Morayo remained in the administration block, long after most managers had gone. On the table between them sat 23 employee files, 11 invoice folders and a portable document shredder that had begun to overheat. We cannot remove everything, Morayo said. Missing files will be worse. We are not removing everything. We are correcting mistakes. You mean replacing pages? I mean making the file reflect the service. There was no service. Kola Alo's eyes snapped towards her. Lower your voice. Rain hammered the window. Morayo opened one folder. Inside were quarterly safety training attendance sheets. 23 signatures appeared beneath a heading that read Chemical Handling and Personal Protective Equipment. Some names were misspelled. 2 workers who had joined in June were listed as attending a session in March. Audit will see this, she said. Then create revised attendance sheet. With which signatures? Use the old onboarding forms. Those signatures will not match dates. Kohler rubbed both hands over his face. You are HR. Think. I have been thinking since yesterday. The issue is not paper again. If cleaners speak, we have problem. They will not speak. Chidera will. Kohler looked through the glass wall towards the dark corridor. The cleaner Elo's trolley moved past the far end, its small front wheel squeaking with every turn. Then she must become the kind of person nobody believes. Morayo understood before he finished speaking. No, she said. Kohler Alo's eyebrows rose. No. Not because I feel sorry for her, because if we plant money and police enter, it can become bigger. Who said money? What are you suggesting? He looked at the company tablet beside her elbow. It was used to approve vendor delivery notes and open procurement documents during site inspections. Something connected to the audit, he said. Something that explains how confidential records left this office. Morayo stared at the tablet. The rain grew louder. At 7:43 p.m. Kohler left the administration block through the front entrance so the main camera would show him leaving. At 7:51, Morayo carried 2 folders and the tablet into the side corridor. She knew where the camera blind spots were because she had helped approve their installation. She stopped when Chidera appeared from the washroom area. Why are you walking about? Morayo asked. I am cleaning, Ma. Do not enter administration store tonight. Chidera looked at the folders. I was not going there. Good. Stay at your level. Morayo passed. Chidera watched her disappear around the corner. The smell of her perfume remained for several seconds. At 8:06, the cleaning trolley Alo's bad wheel jammed. Chidera took it to the equipment store where spare parts and chemicals were kept. Her assigned locker stood inside the same room, a narrow metal cupboard without a personal lock. Management kept one master key for all outsourced staff lockers. She replaced the wheel with one taken from a broken trolley. Before leaving, she photographed the room because 2 chemical containers had been left without labels. The image timestamp read 8:19 p.m. She did not know that 6 minutes earlier, Morayo had opened her locker. She did not know a tablet wrapped in a grey cleaning cloth now rested behind the bottom shelf. At 9:14, Joseph received a call from Kohler. Delete yesterday morning from camera 14. Joseph sat straighter. Sir? You heard me. That old woman had no authorization. I do not want footage of an unregistered visitor remaining in the system. Retention policy is 30 days. Policy is under my site control. Sir, deletion requires incident code. Use nuisance visitor. Joseph looked across the security room. The younger officer was outside checking a truck seal. Sir, the system creates audit trail. Then make sure the trail says what I told you. Are you teaching me my work? No, sir. Good. Do it tonight. The line went dead. Joseph remained still, the receiver pressed to his ear. He had worked at Lowell Harvest for 9 years. His wife Alo's small provisions shop had collapsed after a road expansion project. His salary paid rent, medication for his elderly mother, and university fees for a niece whose parents were no longer alive. Courage sounded attractive when other people discussed it. In real life, courage often arrived carrying bills. He opened the video archive. Camera 14 showed Amara approaching the gate, waiting outside, nearly falling, eating with Chidera and being insulted by Kohler. It also showed the site manager kicking the stool and ordering the woman out. Joseph selected the file. His finger hovered over delete. Then he opened the preservation menu, created a restricted incident copy, and assigned it the code Visitor Safety Review. The system generated a checksum and stored the file in a server folder Kola could not access directly. Only after that did Joseph remove the ordinary viewing copy. He printed the preservation receipt, folded it into 4, and placed it beneath the inner lining of his security cap. He had not disobeyed completely. He had not obeyed completely either. Wednesday morning began with celebration banners. Workers hung gold cloth across the anniversary hall. A printed sign read 25 years of feeding Nigeria with integrity. Florists arranged white roses on round tables. The kitchen prepared jollof rice, grilled chicken, moi moi, and small chops for 96 invited guests. Outsourced cleaners received no invitation. They were told to polish the hall before the event, remain invisible during speeches, and return after guests left. At 9:22 a.m., Chidera was cleaning fingerprints from the glass trophy cabinet when Morayo approached with 2 security officers and Joseph. "Stop what you are doing," Morayo said. Chidera lowered the cloth. "Hope no problem, Ma. A company tablet is missing. What does that have to do with me?" Morayo smiled without warmth. "We will find out." They took her to the equipment store. Kola was waiting beside the door with his arms folded. 4 cleaners stood in the corridor, watching from a distance. "Open her locker," he told Joseph. Chidera stepped in front of it. "Please, sir, before anybody opens it, write down the items inside." Kola stared at her. "Move. There should be witness and list. You are now giving security procedure. I keep my things there. If something is removed..." Kola slapped his palm against the locker door. The sound cracked through the room. "Ordinary woman who washes toilet wants to conduct investigation. Move before I move you." Chidera Alo's breathing changed, but she stepped aside. Joseph looked at her. Then he took out the master key. The locker opened. On the top shelf sat Chidera Alo's folded wrapper and a small nylon bag of detergent. The middle shelf held a notebook, a spare blouse, and her lunchbox. Joseph crouched. Behind the bottom shelf, wrapped in grey cloth, was the missing tablet. Nobody spoke. Morayo covered her mouth. Her performance was excellent. "My God," she whispered. "Chidera, why?" Chidera stared at the device. The color drained from her face. "That is not mine." Kola laughed once. "Of course, it walked inside. I did not put it there. You entered that store last night to repair trolley wheel. For how long?" "I do not know. Maybe 10 minutes. 7 minutes, Morayo said. "Camera shows 7. Chidera looked at Joseph. "Does camera show who entered before me?" Joseph Alo's eyes shifted. Kola noticed. "Take the tablet," he ordered, "and take her phone." Chidera pulled the phone against her chest. "No, sir. It may contain company records. My private phone. You used it to photograph payslip and restricted areas. Payslip is mine. I photographed damaged equipment." Kola stepped so close, she could smell mint on his breath. "You stole a tablet used for vendor approvals, and now you are arguing about privacy. Do you know how many years theft can carry? I did not steal it. Then cooperate. I will show pictures, but I will not give you password." Morayo shook her head slowly. "See, stubbornness. That old beggar has given her confidence." Chidera looked at her. "Why do you keep mentioning that woman?" Kola Alo's jaw tightened. "Because after you fed her, audit started asking for documents." "So you think I know the auditors? You think we are fools? I do not know who she is." "Enough." Kola pointed towards the office block. "Bring her." They took Chidera to a meeting room where the blinds had been closed. On the table waited a 3-page statement. The first page said she had removed the tablet out of anger over disciplinary action. The second said she had copied confidential vendor records and shared them with an unknown outsider. The third waived outstanding salary and allowed Brightpath to terminate her without notice. Morayo placed a pen beside it. "Sign, and we handle this internally." Chidera read the first line again. Her hands were trembling now. "If I do not sign—" Kola sat opposite her. "Police. You have called them? I can call them before you finish blinking. Then call them. Let them check fingerprints." Morayo leaned forward. "Do not be stupid. Police will not sit down checking television fingerprints for one cleaner. They will put you inside cell first." "I did not take it." Kola tapped the paper. "Sign." "No, sir." He tapped again, harder. "Sign." "No." His chair scraped backwards. "Do you know what I can do to you?" Chidera looked at him. Fear was moving through her body, but something firmer had risen beneath it. "You can sack me," she said. "You can call police. But you cannot use my hand to write your lie." Morayo Alo's mouth fell open. Kola picked up the statement and tore it once down the middle. "Fine. We will make it public. What does that mean? Tomorrow, every worker and board visitor will see what kind of thief has been cleaning their offices." Chidera stood. "Why tomorrow? If I stole, report now." "Sit down!" She remained standing. Kola Alo's voice dropped. "You have forgotten your level." "No, sir. I remember it every day. That is why you think nobody will ask questions when you accuse me." The room went silent. Morayo recovered first. "Take her outside." Joseph opened the door. Chidera walked past him without looking up. In the corridor, the other cleaners moved away as if accusation could spread through touch. One woman began to cry quietly. Another stared at the floor. Their contracts were renewed month by month. They knew what Kola could do. At noon, Morayo called them one at a time. Each received a prepared statement saying Chidera had complained about management, taken food without permission, and threatened to expose company secrets. They were told refusal to sign would be treated as disloyalty during contract review. Some signed immediately. Some asked to read first. One held the pen for nearly a minute before writing her name. When Chidera saw them leaving the office, none could meet her eyes. She did not insult them. Poverty had many ways of turning frightened people into witnesses against one another. At 1:38 p.m., Joseph found Chidera behind the loading bay. She was sitting on an upturned bucket, her unopened lunchbox between her feet. "I need to tell you something," he said. She did not look up. "You found another stolen thing?" "No." "Then what? "I preserved the footage from Monday." Her head lifted. "Kola ordered me to delete it. I kept restricted copy." "Why are you telling me now?" Joseph swallowed. "Because last night, another camera recorded Morayo entering equipment corridor before you. Recorded. The ordinary playback has missing time now. 9 minutes and 14 seconds. Who removed it? I cannot prove who pressed the command from local console, but user login belongs to security administrator account." "Your account?" "Yes." Chidera stared at him. "Then they will say you did it." "I know. Did you?" "No." "Can you prove it?" Joseph looked older in that moment. "Maybe. The system keeps remote access log. I do not have permission to see it." Chidera stood. "Send everything to audit. If Kola sees, do not send from your personal phone. Use official channel. Keep the original. Write the time you copied it. Let the system show where it came from." Joseph looked at her with surprise. "Ah, how do you know?" "I do not know plenty. But if you carry video around without record, they will say it is edited." He nodded slowly. "I was afraid," he said. "I am also afraid." "You do not look afraid. My stomach knows." For the first time since morning, a small smile passed between them. Then it disappeared. Joseph went back to the security room. At 2:06 p.m., he opened the company Alo's protected ethics portal. He uploaded the preserved Monday footage, the overnight corridor file, the deletion logs he could access, and a photograph of the printed preservation receipt. In the explanation box, he wrote only facts, no guesses. At 2:19, Lanre received the alert. By 3:03, his technical team had recovered the missing 9 minutes from the central backup. The video showed Morayo entering the equipment store at 8:13 p.m. with the tablet under 2 folders. It showed her leaving at 8:16 without it. It showed Chidera entering 3 minutes later with a broken trolley wheel in her hand. The device log completed the picture. Morayo Allo's fingerprint opened the tablet at 8:14 p.m. No action had been recorded under Chidera Allo's name because Chidera had no user account. Lanre called Amara. "We have the planting on video." Amara Allo's voice became very quiet. "Are you certain?" Video, fingerprint log, equipment issue register, and deletion record. The local footage shown to staff tomorrow may be cut, but central backup is intact. They are planning to show it tomorrow? An event technician received a file named Staff Misconduct, example. It contains the edited clip. Amara closed her eyes. "What time is the ceremony?" she asked. 2 p.m. "Do not stop them." Lanre was silent. "Madame," I said, "do not stop them. Bring the independent auditors, legal counsel, and the board representatives already scheduled to attend. Secure every account before the first speech. You want them to proceed with the accusation? I want the people who have been forced to watch lies to also watch the truth." At Isolo, Kola was rehearsing his anniversary speech. "For 25 years, he said into the empty microphone, Lawal Harvest has stood for discipline, integrity, and family." Morayo sat at the front table, staring at the edited security clip on her laptop. "Family," she repeated. Kola adjusted his cuff. "What? Nothing." Outside the hall, Chidera polished 84 chairs for people who would be invited to watch her disgrace. Thursday, November 20, arrived bright and dry, as if the rain had washed Lagos overnight and left the city pretending innocence. By 11:00 the anniversary hall had changed completely. Gold ribbons hung from the walls. A ceremonial cake stood near the stage, decorated with 25 narrow gold bands around the white icing. Photographs from the company Allo's history ran across a giant screen. Amara beside her first delivery van, Amara opening the Ajag shop, Amara shaking hands with governors, ministers, and hospital directors. Kola had walked past those photographs 6 times. He never once connected the younger woman in them to the elderly visitor he had ordered out of the gate. The formal portrait used most often by the company was 11 years old. In it, Amara wore a red head tie, diamond earrings, and a tailored suit. Her hair was black, her face was fuller. Illness, surgery, and time had changed her enough for an arrogant man to believe his own assumption. At 12:26 p.m., Kola instructed the event technician to remove the company history slideshow and keep the misconduct video ready. "At what point?" the technician asked. "After my integrity speech." "Is it part of program?" "It is now." Morayo stood near the entrance checking guest names. Her hand trembled whenever her phone vibrated. Central Procurement had not replied to the supporting documents she uploaded. Payroll had requested original worker acknowledgements. Information Technology had reset 2 administrative passwords without explanation. She walked to Kola. "Something is wrong." "Stop saying that. My access to vendor amendment page is locked. System maintenance. It has never happened during office hours." Kola smiled at a board representative entering the hall, waited until the man passed, then bent towards her. "Control your face. By 3:00, Chidera will be dismissed. Everybody will know she stole procurement device, and any complaint she made will look like revenge. What if audit already knows? Then we say she manipulated records. What if they ask for full camera? The full camera is gone. Morayo looked across the room. Joseph stood beside the rear door in full security uniform. His face gave her nothing. At 1:17 p.m., Chidera entered carrying a bucket, a mop, and a stack of cleaning cloths. She had been told to remain on standby throughout the ceremony. Kola had also ordered that her name tag be replaced because the old one looked disgraceful in front of visitors. The new tag shone brightly against her faded uniform. Chidra Woodwi. She wished they had left the old one. At least it had belonged to her suffering. This new one looked prepared for evidence. One of the cleaners who had signed Morayo Alo's statement approached while arranging bottled water on a table. "My sister," the woman whispered. "Forgive me." Chidera kept wiping the tabletop. "For what?" "They said if I did not sign, they would remove my name from December list." "Did you write what you saw?" "No, I wrote what they brought. Then when somebody asks you later, speak what you saw." "You are not angry." "I am angry. But I know who put the pen in your hand." The woman owl's eyes filled with tears. "Go," Chidera said. "They are watching." At 1:46, the invited guests took their seats. Senior managers occupied the front tables. Suppliers and supervisors sat behind them. Permanent staff filled the middle rows. The outsourced cleaners stood near the rear wall until Kola noticed them. "Why are they standing there?" he asked Morayo. "You told them to remain available." "Move them closer. They should hear the lesson." Morayo stared at him. "What?" "Nothing." She arranged 23 plastic chairs along the side of the hall. At 1:58, Lanray entered with a small group from headquarters. He shook Kola Alo's hand, accepted a program booklet, and said nothing about the locked accounts. 2 independent auditors sat at the front. A lawyer from the company Alo's external counsel took a seat beside them. 3 board representatives greeted Kola with controlled politeness. Kola Alo's confidence rose again. If there was serious trouble, they would not be smiling. At 2:04, the master of ceremonies introduced him. Kola walked to the podium while applause moved through the room. "For 25 years, he began. Lawal Harvest has stood for discipline, integrity, and family." The word family traveled across the hall and reached the cleaners seated beside the wall. Chidera lowered her eyes. Kola spoke about standards, loyalty, and the danger of employees who believed personal hardship excused misconduct. He praised management for protecting company assets. Then he paused, placed both hands on the podium, and looked towards Chidera. "Today, integrity requires that we address an unfortunate matter." Morayo clicked the remote. The giant screen changed. A still image appeared of Chidera entering the equipment store. Whispers spread across the room. "Chidera Woodiwe," Kola called. "Come forward." Her body went cold. She had known they planned something. She had not known they would turn an anniversary into a public execution. "Come forward." Chidera put down the cleaning cloth. 84 faces followed her as she walked from the rear of the hall towards the stage. The distance was only 23 meters. It felt longer than the road from Isolo to Oshodi. Kola waited until she stood beneath the screen. 3 days ago, this worker violated visitor policy by bringing an unauthorized beggar into an executive area. "I did not bring her," Chidera said. "She was already at the gate." Kola raised one finger. "You will speak when permitted," he continued. The following night, she entered a restricted store. A company tablet containing confidential vendor data was later found inside her locker. Morayo played the video. It showed Chidera entering the store at 8:19 p.m. It showed her leaving 7 minutes later. It did not show Morayo entering first. A second image appeared. The tablet wrapped in grey cloth behind the locker shelf. Murmurs became louder. Kola looked towards the cleaners. This is what happens when people who are given opportunity begin to despise their level. We hired her to remove dirt, yet she became dirt inside the system. A few people shifted uncomfortably. Nobody interrupted. Morayo brought the dented lunchbox to the stage. She had taken it from Chidera Ilo's locker after the search. Kola lifted it by one handle as if it carried disease. This is the container she used to feed the unauthorized old woman. While pretending kindness, she was collecting information, photographing restricted areas and planning theft. That is a lie, Chidera said. Kola Alo's head snapped towards her. What did you say? I said it is a lie. Morayo stepped forward. Look at her squeezing her face. Ordinary cleaner who survives on leftover food now wants to behave like an executive. People like you should know their level. Kola pointed to the side of the stage where a printed confession rested on a table. We offered her mercy. She refused. So today, before witnesses, she will admit what she did. I will not admit what I did not do. His nostrils widened. A catering assistant carrying a stainless steel tray passed near the podium. Kola snatched the tray and threw it down in front of Chidera. The crash struck the hall like gunfire. Rice scattered beneath her worn shoes. A piece of grilled chicken slid across the polished marble and stopped beside the first-row table. On your knees, Kola thundered. Clean it with your hands. Confess that you stole the company tablet, and maybe I will allow you to leave without police carrying you away. Chidera Alo's fingers tightened around the side of her uniform. Morayo tore the new name tag from her chest and pushed the confession towards her. Sign. Chidera looked at the rice on the floor. She looked at the cleaners seated against the wall. She saw fear, shame, and something else beginning to rise in their faces. Then Kola slammed her lunchbox onto the podium. This dirty thing is the only executive property she understands. Chidera Alo's lips trembled, but she did not kneel. I clean the dirt in this building. Sir, she said quietly. I did not create it. The hall froze. A spoon fell from somebody Alo's hand near the back and rang against a plate. Then a calm voice came from the entrance. Before that woman kneels, let the people who have been eating from her wages kneel before the truth. Every head turned. Amara stood beneath the anniversary banner, wearing the same brown and cream Ankara blouse and low black sandals. Her driver remained outside. She carried no handbag now, only the dented lunchbox lid Chidera had given her on Monday. Kola blinked. Then he laughed. The sound was too loud, too quick. Security, he said. This is the same nuisance visitor. Remove her immediately. Joseph did not move. Kola looked at him. Mr. Ekanem, did you hear me? Yes, sir. Then remove her. No, sir. A current passed through the hall. Kola Al's face darkened. Have you lost your mind? Amara walked forward. Play camera 7, she said. Tuesday, from 8:05 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. Morayo tightened her grip on the remote. Who do you think you are to give instruction here? Amara stopped beside the first row. Play the full file. Kola came down from the stage. Mama, this is not a roadside meeting. You have already caused enough trouble. Do not force me to have you carried out. Lanre rose from his seat. Kola, he said. The site manager turned. Mr. Lanre, please forgive this disruption. The woman is confused. Lanre buttoned his jacket. The woman is Madame Amara Lawal, founder, chief executive officer, and controlling shareholder of Lawal Harvest Group. Silence did not fall. It struck. Morayo, Alo's remote, slipped from her fingers and hit the floor. A glass at the front table tilted, rolled in a half circle, and shattered. Two managers stood at once. One whispered, Jesus. Another covered his mouth. Kola stared at Amara as if age itself had removed a mask from her face. No, he said. Amara Alo's eyes remained on him. No. I mean, madame, I did not recognize. That part is clear. Kola Alo's mouth opened, but no useful word came. Chidera looked from Lanre to Amara. Her knees weakened. The woman she had fed beside the gate was not only rich. She owned the gate, the hall, the camera system, the company tablet, and every polished title Kola had used as a weapon. Amara climbed the 2 steps to the stage. She lifted the dented lunchbox from the podium and set the lid beside it. "This woman fed me before she knew my name," she said. "You stole from her while signing documents with mine." Kola Alo's face went grey. "Madame, there has been misunderstanding." "Good. Then records will help us understand." She looked at Lanre. He nodded to the event technician. The edited security clip disappeared. A payroll table filled the giant screen. 23 outsourced cleaners, Lanre said, facing the room. Each receives a monthly deduction of 17,850 naira for uniform maintenance, meals, transport coordination, and safety equipment. A second table appeared. At the same time, Lawal Harvest pays Bright Path Workforce Services 28,600 naira per cleaner each month for the same services. The numbers sat side by side. One cleaner began to whisper the total under her breath. Lanre continued. Across 19 confirmed months, duplicated charges amount to 20,298,650 naira, excluding overtime corrections still under review. Kola raised both hands. "Madame, Bright Path handles those deductions. Site management does not control their payroll." The screen changed again. A corporate registration record appeared, followed by bank transfer summaries. Bright Path Alo's registered director shares a residential address and family link with Miss Morayo Bamidele, Sir Lanre said. Bright Path also transferred 7,430,000 naira to Akinola Process Advisory, a company registered to Mr. Kola Akinola Alo's brother. The advisory company has no employees, no active office lease, and no evidence of services delivered. All eyes moved to Kola. He took one step backwards. "These are allegations," he said. "Anybody can create spreadsheet." "You are correct," Lanre replied. "That is why we do not rely on spreadsheets alone." The screen showed scanned safety training attendance sheets. Signatures repeated with the same angle and pressure. 2 workers appeared on a March list months before they joined the company. Morayo spoke for the first time. "I did not prepare those documents personally." A document activity log appeared beside her name. "You uploaded 11 of the 12 files," Lanre said. She swallowed. Kola pointed at Chidera. "Even if there were vendor issues, that woman still stole the tablet. Do not allow her to hide behind another matter." Amara looked at him. "Play the full camera." The hall darkened slightly as the video began. Timestamp: Tuesday, November 18, 8:13 p.m. Morayo appeared in the equipment corridor carrying 2 folders and the missing tablet. In the hall, somebody inhaled sharply. The video showed her opening the store, entering and closing the door. 3 minutes later, she came out without the tablet. At 8:19, Chidera entered holding a broken trolley wheel. At 8:26, she left with the repaired wheel in place. Morayo Alo's lips parted. "That video is false." Lanre displayed the device log. The tablet was unlocked by Miss Bamidele Alo's registered fingerprint at 8:14 p.m. No subsequent user action occurred until security recovered it from the locker. Kola turned towards Joseph. "You edited this." Joseph stepped away from the rear door. "No, sir, you had to. The local file lost 9 minutes and 14 seconds under my administrator account. Central log shows the account was accessed remotely from HR terminal, while my physical badge recorded me at gate 2. The screen showed both timestamps. Morayo Alo's knees bent slightly. She gripped the back of a chair. Kola looked around as if searching for an exit nobody else could see. "This is a setup," he said. That cleaner planned everything with security and audit. Chidera stared at him. Sir, yesterday you said I was too ordinary to understand company system. Today I am powerful enough to control audit. A few people made sounds that were almost laughter, but Amara raised one hand. This is not entertainment, she said. Workers were harmed. The room sobered. Lanry played the Monday footage. Everyone watched Amara wait outside for 41 minutes, while the indoor reception remained empty. They watched Chidera catch her before she fell. They watched the lunchbox open. They watched Kola kick the stool and send 2 pieces of pawpaw into the gutter. Then his own voice filled the hall. Poor people are becoming too bold these days. Kola squeezed his eyes shut. The video ended with him ordering Joseph to remove Amara. No one moved. Kola turned towards her. Sweat shone beside his ears. Madame, I did not know it was you. Chidera looked at him. That is the problem, sir, she said. You think respect should wait for identification? This time, the words did not sound quiet. They filled every corner of the hall. Amara looked at Kola for several seconds. Would you have kicked the stool if you knew my name? No, madame. Would you have called the food dirty? No. Would you have ordered me outside? No. Then your apology is not for what you did. It is for who you discovered I am. Kola lowered his head. Amara faced the room. I will not conduct a criminal trial on a stage, she said. Mr. Kola Akinola and Ms. Morayo Bamidele are suspended with immediate effect. Their access to company systems, financial accounts, and personal records has been disabled. The evidence will be reviewed by external counsel and transferred to the appropriate authorities where required. Brightpath payments are frozen. No worker who cooperates with this review may be dismissed, transferred, or punished without independent approval. Morayo Alo's voice broke. Madame, please. I have worked here 8 years. So has Joseph, Amara said. So have people whose food money you collected. I was following Kola Alo's instruction. Kola spun towards her. Do not put this on me. You controlled HR. You told me to replace the stations. You brought Brightpath. Their panic tore through the partnership faster than any accusation could have done. Amara watched them turn on each other, then looked away. Mr. Eckenham, she said. Joseph straightened. Madame, escort them to separate offices. They may collect personal items only under supervision. Nobody deletes, removes, or destroys anything. Yes, madame. Kola stared at Joseph. You will touch me? Joseph Alo's voice remained level. Please come with me, sir. Kola looked towards the board members. Nobody defended him. He looked towards the managers who had laughed when he mocked Chidera. Their eyes dropped one after another. He walked from the hall. No one clapped. No one shouted. The silence followed him like a judgment. Morayo went after him with another security officer, one hand pressed over her mouth. When the doors closed, Amara turned towards Chidera. The rice still covered the floor between them. Nims on Wudiwe, she said. I am sorry, Chidera blinked. Madame? I am sorry that this company used your labor and did not protect your dignity. I am sorry that reports reached my desk while your reality did not. Kola abused authority. Morayo abused access. But leadership also failed to look. She faced the cleaners seated at the side. A company cannot praise dignity in advertisements while contractors are hungry behind its kitchen. We cannot call people family on a banner and treat them like stains when food is served. One of the cleaners began to cry openly. Amara looked at the tray on the floor. Then she bent down. Lanre stepped forward. Madame, please. She picked up the first spoonful of spilled rice with the tray. The board representatives looked at one another. Chidera moved quickly. Ma, leave it. I will clean. Amara shook her head. No, you were ordered to clean humiliation you did not create. She placed the rice onto the tray. Lanre bent down beside her. Then one board member. Then another manager. After several seconds, employees began leaving their chairs to help. A catering assistant brought a waste bowl. Joseph returned and silently picked up the piece of chicken near the first row. Nobody asked Chidera to touch the floor. When the last grain was gone, Amara stood and wiped her hands with a napkin. "What do you want?" she asked Chidera. The hall waited. Chidera looked at the screen, the broken glass, the workers beside the wall, and the lunchbox resting on the podium. "I want my name cleared in writing," she said. "It will be. I want every deduction checked for everybody, not only me. Yes, let outsourced workers use the canteen through the same door. If food is part of work, employment category should not decide who eats. Yes, give safety things with record. If glove is issued, let person sign for actual glove, not paper glove." A sound moved through the cleaners. This time it was agreement. Chidera continued, "And complaint should not pass through the person somebody is complaining about." Amara nodded. Agreed. Chidera took a breath. "One more thing. Say it. Stop calling workers family if some people are only family when camera is watching." Amara looked up at the banner. 25 years of feeding Nagaria with integrity. "Remove the word family from Tadeo's speech," she said, to the master of ceremonies. "We will earn it before we use it again." The anniversary ceremony did not continue as planned. The cake remained uncut for another hour, while workers met the independent review team in small groups. Those who had signed Morayo Alo's false statements were told they would not be punished for speaking truthfully. One after another, they explained how contract renewal had been used to frighten them, how meal deductions appeared even during weeks they were absent, and how damaged gloves were collected only when visitors were expected. Chidera gave Lanre her phone. Inside, it were photographs of payslips, torn protective equipment, unlabeled chemicals, backdated forms, and the oil trap she had been ordered to clean alone. Her small notebook supplied dates and times. Nothing inside it was dramatic. That was why it mattered. A true record often looks ordinary until somebody tries to replace it with a lie. 11 days later, the disciplinary review ended. Kola and Morayo Elo's employment was terminated after they were given formal notice, access to the evidence, and an opportunity to respond. The company began recovery proceedings over unauthorized payments and transferred the relevant files for further legal review. Brightpath was removed from the approved vendor list. Its outstanding invoices remained frozen. There was no magical scene where Kola woke up poor the next morning. Consequences did not arrive like thunder from heaven. They arrived as letters, account restrictions, interviews, repayment claims and doors that no longer opened when he presented his title. That was harder to escape. The worker remediation report took 37 days to complete. Every cleaner received an individual statement showing each improper deduction, the amount owed, and the calculation used. Overtime records were reconstructed from security logs and duty rosters. Protective equipment charges were refunded. Meal and transport deductions were returned with an additional compensation payment approved by the board. 21 of the 23 cleaners chose direct employment after skills assessment. The remaining 2 kept flexible contractor arrangements under new terms because that suited their personal schedules. Nobody was forced to accept a solution merely because it sounded generous during a speech. Amara created what the workers named the one-table policy. Anyone working a full shift at a Lawal harvest facility would have access to the designated staff meal, whether permanent, temporary, or outsourced. Protective equipment would be issued through a coded register tied to actual items. No site manager could delete camera records alone. Complaints involving a supervisor would bypass that supervisor and go to an independent ethics channel. Safe surplus food would be transferred only through approved food rescue partners with proper temperature control and records. Kindness without process can still harm people, Amara told the management team. We will not throw unsafe leftovers at workers and call it charity. Dignity includes safety. Joseph remained employed, but Amara did not pretend his one brave act erased every earlier silence. He attended accountability training and gave a written statement explaining why fear had kept him quiet. Months later, he became the security contact for evidence preservation requests under the new whistleblower system. One afternoon, he met Chidera near the gate. I should have spoken earlier, he said. Yes, she replied. He nodded, accepting the answer. Then she added, But you spoke before it was too late. Make sure next time fear does not reach the door before you. I will try. Do more than try, Mr. Joseph. A small smile crossed his face. Yes, Ma. Amara offered Chidera a facilities management position immediately after the investigation. Chidera refused. The answer surprised everybody except Amara. I can read stock sheet and document problems, Chidera explained. But I have not managed a facility. If you put me there because I fed you, people will say kindness is qualification. Let me learn the work. So the company funded a professional certificate in facility operations and occupational safety. Chidera remained on a direct contract while studying 3 evenings each week. She learned incident reporting, chemical control, supplier verification, maintenance planning, and the difference between a policy written for display and a process built to work. 6 months later, she passed the internal assessment with 87% and became Assistant Facilities Quality Officer. Her new salary did not come because she had shared porridge with a wealthy woman. It came because the company finally gave her access to training, and she proved what she could do with it. On the morning the renovated staff canteen opened, every entrance sign that separated employees by contract type had been removed. Warehouse workers, office staff, drivers, cleaners, guards and managers queued at the same serving counters. Nobody had a special table near the air conditioner. Amara arrived carrying Chidera Alo's stainless steel lunchbox. The dent had been repaired by a metal worker, the broken clip replaced and the handle strengthened. But the old scratches remained. Chidera turned it beneath the light. You did not polish everything. I asked them to. Then I remembered what you said about records. Chidera traced the faint words on the lid. Do not eat beside a hungry person. My mother scratched this with a nail, she said. The first week I started work outside home. She taught you well. She also used to say that help should not make the receiver small. Amara looked around the canteen. I am still learning that part. They sat at a long table with Joseph, Lanre, cleaners, warehouse staff and managers. Plates of jollof, rice, beans, grilled fish and vegetables moved from hand to hand. There was no VIP section. There was only food and the quiet awkwardness of people learning a better way after becoming used to a bad one. Amara opened the lunchbox and placed 5 slices of pawpaw inside. Chidera laughed. Madame, what is this? Replacement. 2 pieces entered gutter because of my site manager. After 6 months? Debt is debt. You have added interest. Board approved. Their laughter traveled down the table. Chidera did not allow the metalworker to erase every dent, because repair should never pretend damage did not happen. A scar can become a record. A record can become protection. And protection matters most for people whose words are usually treated as disposable. What remained from that week? was not the surprise that a hungry old woman was a billionaire CEO. Wealth was only the loudest part of the reveal. The deeper truth was that Chidera shared her only meal when she expected no reward, no promotion, and no witness who could improve her life. A title may decide who enters through a private door. It should never decide who deserves food, safety, fairness, or respect. A company is not measured only by the size of its buildings or the beauty of the promises written on its walls. It is measured by how it treats the person cleaning the floor after every important guest has gone home. And sometimes, the hand holding the mop is also the hand holding the evidence that can clean an entire system.